The invocation given by Ms. Tolliver and the pledge of allegiance by Mr. Stewart.
May we bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have gave us. Guide us in this meeting this evening so that everything we do begin with your inspiration and carried out through your grace. Father, continue to keep your arms of protection around our first responders and everyone that makes up this great community. I ask you this in your Son's name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing on this agenda is discuss the bids for the sanitation trucks financing. Ms. Phillips, could you handle that?
We posted one bid, mailed 7 bids, and received 5 bids for the financing. The bid results are attached. BB&T came in with the lowest interest rate at 1.59%. So it is recommended that the bid be awarded to BB&T.
Anyone have any questions about this? I believe that's extremely great rate at 1.59%. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. So we'll move this to next week's meeting. Number 2, discuss the Scottsboro solid waste holiday schedule mailer. Mr. Level.
We have been discussing this on and off for the last little bit about getting a mailer out to all the citizens, stating, our holiday schedules, the days we're not going to be running, the day that we do. Just try to get them some more information out and get them into each home. We've got 2 prices back. I hate to tell you this, but we need to postpone because I talked to a gentleman that Rick sent me that's been doing some mailers for them, and I don't have his price back yet. I talked to him this morning and supposed to have those maybe tomorrow, so we just need to postpone it till I get them on.
Okay. If no one has any questions about this, I'd like to move it to our March 15th work session. Mr. Level, just stay up here. Number 3, let's discuss the leachate trucks for the solid waste department.
This is a discussion we've been having with the solid waste board pertaining to leachate. I wanted to just tell you real briefly what the deal is now rather than in years past of why this wasn't so critical. As we went up, the engineer met with me Friday, as we went up with garbage in these cells, the height that we went up and the distance that we've gone, the water is being retained in those cells and it's having some adverse effects on our monitoring and our samples that we do every month. We have to get this water out of there. In years past, when it was a little flatter, it didn't cause so many problems. But as we went up and put more garbage in there, that's how this has come about, why these things are needed now, is because the cell 2 is pretty well finished. We've got a little bit more we put on top, but the amount of water that we're getting right now, even coming out in our ditches and our streams, is massive. But, a lot of that plays into the weather. The rainy season causes a lot of problems. But these 2 vehicles, the small one, we have 8 manual sites that is not connected to a system. We have to go around and manually pump. When this new cell was designed and everything was done, the tanker, which is part of this also, it's just not feasible to get it around there to these places. This tanker is primarily going to be used for, we've got a 110,000 gallon storage tank out there now that is full. The tanker will be used to drain that. We'll have to do it every day. The small truck is gonna have to go to the sites and pump out those wells, and it's gonna have to be done every day. When we get in some dry season and some of this can percolate and get through the system, I think we'll be in better shape. But right now, it's just become an emergency with how much we've got in our spillways. But that's the reason behind these. The funding is on the sheet showing these are budgeted funds. These are not, we're not asking for amendments. But the money is there.
So when the landfill has time to percolate, will this be an ongoing problem or will this settle itself?
It will be an ongoing problem in the lined areas. We have some areas out there that are unlined garbage cells. That percolation, of course, will do the natural thing going through the ground. The line cells, it's there. And when it gets up to a point, that's where it's coming out, and it's causing us a problem with our readings. It'll have to be pumped from now on. And it's not just here, it's everywhere in the country that runs landfill. And they're experiencing the same problems.
And right now, you're actually borrowing a truck, right?
Yes, sir.
Barney tanker.
Yes, sir. Mark from Washington, yes.
Anyone else have any questions for level on this? And to clarify, this is out of his budget also, it's not gonna come out of excess sales tax or anything like that, he's using this budget to buy these. No one else has any questions, we'll move that to next week's meeting. Number 4 was to discuss amended employee handbook. Ms. Green couldn't be here this evening, so we're gonna push that on to March 15th meeting also, so we can go over that with her. Number 5 is discuss changing the time of council meetings. Ms. Dollar?
Mr. President, I was just wanting to see suggest to the board about moving it to 5 o'clock. Like I said, it's just a suggestion.
Anyone have any questions or comments about moving the meeting to 5 o'clock? I know, talking with department heads, I know it'd make it a lot easier on them if they have to stay here for the meeting. And anything besides 5 o'clock you going? I know, Gary, I think that would be the best time you can do, about 5 o'clock.
I'm fine with either time.
Okay. Saying that, we'll move that to next week's meeting.
Would you like me to draft up an ordinance about the leave?
Yes, please. Before I do it wrong, please. So we'll move that to next week's meeting. Number 6, discuss another boom repairs. Mr. Moore.
We've got 2 old knuckle booms I passed out. Y'all got a copy of this. And what I'd like to do, I'll just tell you this first, is we want to take the best out of those 2 and make a good truck out of it. And then try to lease a new truck to replace the other of them. Mike has been getting some estimates together on the repairs of the truck that we want to keep. The cheapest bid you got to rebuild the motor is $10,820. But if running into any more issues, that could go up. And they have no idea until they get inside the engine before they know. Price of a new engine, he said, was $23,000 or something over $23,000 to get a new one. Anybody have any questions on that?
Anybody have questions on that?
What year is that truck?
There are 11 models. Yeah.
And these are ones that we own, that we
Yes, we
bought.
own, yes. If there's no more questions on the lease truck that I'm looking at, he has a Freightliner truck on the lot there that he can send out, but it's not really what we need. It's got a shorter bed, it's got a smaller capacity on it. The one we want is the one just like the three that y'all bought us already. I I feel like it'd be good if we could stay with that. That way, when the men interchange, they're doing the same truck and they're not switching to a different brand and stuff. And that's on the back page, the price on it. The only issue with that is going to be September probably before they can have the truck ready. So he gave me a rental price this afternoon before I got here of $76.50 a month that we can rent a truck for until they can get this truck built for us.
Anyone else have any questions about another one?
Are you need to rent a truck to replace this one that's down?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Both of those that are down, we're going to try to build one out of it.
Yeah.
And Mike told me he thought it would take 2 or 3 weeks. Dean's can get to it and have it going maybe in 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
That's if everything goes good. And that's going to put us right at April cleanup month, which we get slammed so hard during that time. So if you got any questions, just let me know.
Anyone else have any questions? I'll just comment, I'll say it again, we talked before, garbage trucks, knuckle booms, and lawnmowers. It's what we have the most trouble with, and we need to get out of the buying of those and stay in the lease on those, I feel. And I don't know how the rest of all y'all feel about that, but
I agree.
so we will put both the repair and the consideration of a lease both on next week's meeting.
Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you. Number 7 is discuss the Toller Construction Pay Application Number 5 and a change order for the Heritage Center project. Mr. Owens.
The first item is a pay application for Toller Construction. This is a routine monthly payment, the amount of $140,000. The project is proceeding well, and overall it's probably within a month of completion. I review these percentage completes on each of the pay items. It goes to the architect for his review as well. We're all in agreement, and then the architect signs off and sends it to the mayor for his approval and the council approval, of course. And so this has been reviewed, so I request the payment of $140,000 to Toller Construction. I think this is nearing the end of the $500,000. I think it's still within that limit. Rick has those details, but I think it's getting very close to that limit. Any questions on that before I go to the change orders? Typically on change orders on contracts, that's a bad thing, but there are good change orders, and these are 2 of them. The Building Committee of the Heritage Center, which consists of Brenda Ivey and Susan Fisher, the director, Jennifer Petty, and myself, have an excellent working relationship with Toller Construction, the site superintendent, Brian Smith, and the project manager, Alan Toller, and of course, Dave Ivey and Christine Harding from KPS. So this first item is a change limestone seals and lintels. It's a credit. Alan Toller, the project manager at Toller Construction, suggested that maybe we could get a lesser, because the granite seal, the seals over the under the windows and on top of the windows, the seals and headers were specified as granite. I mean, the real granite stone. Well, these are going to be painted to match the existing house. Typically on commercial buildings, you have a precast headers and seals that are more common and a lot less expensive. Since they're going to be, and they have a sand type finish. Since it's going to be painted, he suggests that we could save a couple $1,000s by getting the precast seals instead of the granite seals. And that was submitted, we agreed, the building committee agreed, we submitted that to the architect, and he agreed as well, and that's a credit of $2,150. The second item is the flooring. The specified flooring, because of cost, was a luxury vinyl tile to try to have a wood type finish to somewhat match the existing house as best we could. We struggled to try to find something that even remotely matched it. We knew we couldn't find it exactly. But the existing house has strips probably 1.5 or so inches wide, and it's oak. and it appears to be unfinished. Alan told us, we struggled to try to find something. Alan suggested that there may be there would be a cost savings if we do not put the luxury vinyl tile down. Then a premium half-inch subfloor would not have to be put underneath there. We already have a subfloor there, of course, but on top of the existing subfloor, a premium half-inch ply would have to be put down before the luxury vinyl tile is put down. But if we don't put that luxury vinyl tile down, the 3/4-inch oak flooring is a structural item itself. We can eliminate that. That's to the tune of $2,000 or $3,000. And so as a result of that, the net price for putting oak flooring down in the building is only $3,300. He brought that to our attention. He saw what we were doing. He says, hey, we can do this. We can, by saving some money here, we can put that flooring down. They're very reasonable in their pricing, working with us. So we recommend that these two changes to the net effect of plus $1,187 be approved. But those are two good things that represent the excellent working relationship that the building committee has with those individuals. And we're very appreciative of their work.
Anyone else have any questions, Mr. Owens? If not, we'll put that on next week's meeting, and of course, pending, or Rick's looks into how much money's left in the bond. Number 8, discuss the Kelly Group invoices. I guess I can go over this. We have a total of $9,823.48 worth of invoices from the Kelly Group. These are invoices that had to do with the boat launch at Goose Pond. In the agreement with the former mayor and council, these are pending bills that the city will be responsible for. And you'll see in your packet the 6 different invoices, and they total up that amount to that amount. Any questions on that? And these go back to almost a year ago, so we need to take care of these. So, hearing no questions, we'll put that on next week's next week's meeting. Number 9, discuss the request for a state audit. Ms. Audit?
Yes, Mr. President, I have brought before the board about a second audit. This is how I feel about all of this. The fundamental purpose of a financial audit is to give an elected officials and citizens assurance that their finances are true and are not tampered with. Not only that, a financial audit is not a witch hunt. It is a statement of activities that will show areas of need improvement. Okay? As a councilwoman and the councilman that is up on this board with me, I feel like that we owe it to our citizens to show them that we can follow through with things and that we are on task with every area of our financials. And so I'm asking y'all to think about this, and I'm throwing it out there to let y'all know that I am on board with a second audit, and I would like for you to be on board with me. Thank you.
I've got a few things, but anybody else have anything, discussions with Mr. Oliver on this? If not, just want to clarify, the city does an audit each year. So it's not that there's not an audit, and you do have a copy of last year's audit, correct?
Yes, I received it today.
Okay. And there's an audit ongoing at this moment for this past year's. I've talked with the mayor on this. Also, Mayor, we looked at some prices, and Our audit right now, I'd say is close to $60,000, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And to do another audit would be, they would do exact same thing, but it's pretty much the same results, am I correct?
That'd be correct. It could be a little bit less, up to $40,000, but it would not include a single audit, and it would not include extra GASB report.
Yes.
So it would not be quite as much, but it would still be $40,000.
Mr. Wheeler, you deal with the audits. If we were to do another audit like that, just, tell me if I'm wrong, common sense would tell me if we just do the exact same audit, we're gonna get the same results.
More than likely you are.
Okay.
What you will get is there will be different things that will be selected by the two different firms. They wouldn't select, if they have one invoice that one selected, the other people might not select the same invoice. So there will be some different selections made by each different firm, but their standards that they follow will be the same.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, I guess I'm trying to ask you, since you deal with audits more than we do as a council, what kind of audit would we be interested in asking for?
It depends on what you want, what you're looking for. If you're looking for the same information that you're going to get from the auditors that have already been engaged with, which is Gant Croft and Associates, then bottom line, you're probably going to get the same, or you would get the same opinion from each one of those too. And they will issue opinion that says that the financials are fairly stated, just like we normally get every year, and have, I've been here for 23 and a half years and been through 23 and a half audit, or 23 audits.
But this is what I'm asking, again, I'm not talking now.
No, the floor's open.
You said you've been here how many years? 20, I'm sorry. 20 what now?
23.
23, I'm sorry, I have a hearing problem. I'm just being honest. I understand that you've been here 23 years and everything, but this is a problem with me and citizens of Scottsboro, and I'm speaking for them too. This is how we have always, let me take this off just a minute. This is how we have always done it. Yes, is that correct? Not for sure that's correct. But maybe why are we always doing it this way? You know, what's wrong with a change? That's all I'm asking the city. What is wrong with a change? Nothing's wrong with change, right?
And there was another auditing firm that did it probably.
In 07, right?
Probably, yeah, somewhere along in there.
Okay,
And they did it for a couple of years.
okay.
Question from Mr. Wheeler.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Wheeler, when they do these audits, do they look into like procedural, like how money is deposited and deposits and the procedure of those, how money gets up here?
Yes, they did.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I would make a suggestion that we put it on the next meeting and vote on it, either yes or no. We need to have an audit or move forward.
Okay, thank you. I
And
appreciate
I'm
it.
all for that, and I've told Nita over and over again that I would support her in anything she wanted to do.
Thank you.
But I just want to make sure we know what kind of audit we're asking for.
Yeah, there's all kinds of audits.
Yes.
All kinds.
And so,
Compliance audits.
before we even vote on an audit, are we just gonna ask for the same general audit that we pay for to have done every year? Or are we asking for a certain audit, a different kind of audit?
I believe a forensic audit's a little bit more in depth.
I'm not asking for a forensic audit.
But, well, that's when they really get into it, you know.
Ms. Cameron, I don't know how much you can tell me on this. If when they say forensic audit, you'd have to say what you were looking for.
It's a general rule. I get the impression, though I've not talked in detail with Ms. Tolliver,
Yes,
that she's looking for what's called a compliance audit.
Okay.
yes,
So
sir.
that the
Yes,
city
sir. That's the word, compliance,
with the rules and regulations.
compliance.
Well, that makes it easy, thank you. So,
If we're in compliance with, we have government laws. Are we in compliance with all the laws? Okay?
so, Mayor, let me ask you, can you look into this week and see what it would cost for us as far as a compliance audit?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I'm gonna go ahead and put that on next week's meeting, and that way he can come back with the totals before we vote on it.
So to clarify, we're going compliance with
Finances.
so I'll make sure I ask the right questions.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we'll move that to next week's meeting. Anyone else have any questions on that? Okay, thank you. All right, number 10, announce the zoning adjustment board vacancies. Ms. Phillips?
Ted Crona has resigned from the zoning adjustment board. His term expires June 2022. Anyone interested in filling the remainder of this term should apply in writing to the city clerk's office by Friday, March 19th, 2021 at 4:30 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Number 11, announce the commercial development board vacancies. Ms. Phillips?
Jenna Bell, Bishop Dawson, and John Jennings' terms on the commercial development board expire March 2021. These are 4-year terms. Anyone interested should apply in writing to the city clerk's office by Friday, March 19th, 2021 at 4:30 p.m.
Thank you. And number 12, discuss the agreement with White Development. Mayor McKay?
Okay, White Development is a company we've been discussing, a development company. We have a proposed contract with White Development for a regional retail development for a project that includes a national grocery chain anchor and 2 other national retailers, as well as 3 out parcels. This agreement, for council's consideration, would be for a sales tax rebate of 65% with non-educational sales taxes paid to the city attributed to the sales at the shopping center for a period of 7 years from the date of the initial sales tax rebate payment to the developer, or the total rebate of sales tax attributed at the shopping center in the amount of $3,685,500, whichever comes first. So the developer would receive a rebate of 65% of 3% of the sales taxes attributed to the sales at the shopping center.
Anyone have any questions on that?
Mayor, anything else that's put into this shopping development, will it stand true for those businesses too, 65%?
That's correct. It's a 17.44 acre site, and those 17.44 acres are included in the tax rate.
So any other businesses that want to come in, they're not going to come back on another contract?
They would have to come back individually if they did.
Thank you.
But it includes other planned retail stores that's coming with this grocery store.
2 others, as well as 3 other out parcels that are as yet unfilled.
Okay, so they have the tax abatement too.
They will be. Okay.
Got it.
And that would shorten the time frame. So
Sure.
So they're all included in that same total amount though. So Mr. Cameron, will you explain how they would have counted about the 772?
These kinds of things operate under Amendment 772 of the Alabama State Constitution. The city has been involved, I believe, on 2 occasions already in the past in regards to the development or redevelopment of shopping centers, whereby for a period of time the city will rebate a percentage of the sales tax back. The legislature in those situations requires them to come before you formally and bring what's called a 772 agreement. Basically, it would be what the mayor has just told you, with about 35 or 40 pages of legalese thrown in. The thing is then filed as a lawsuit. It's a horrible sounding thing. It would be the city of Scottsboro versus the citizens of the city of Scottsboro. Sounds pretty horrendous. The district attorney of Jackson County has served papers. The clerk's office in Jackson County arranges publication in the newspaper of the lawsuit. Citizens have the right to come forward in court and object. The judge hears evidence and makes a decision under 772, which ratifies, as a general rule, the process and things of that nature. And I said, we've done this twice before, and have, besides this entity, are looking at another potential entity in the future. Scottsboro has never done it before on individual stores. But communities such as Section, for example, did it for Jack's. Other communities do it for individual stores, Guntersville, Albertville. That is a process that y'all might want to change the city's current practice on. We, as a city, have only done it on shopping centers in the past. The cities that are using this are developing fast. This does not count toward the city's bond indebtedness, of course, but technically it's bond indebtedness. And the rationale behind it from the Business Council of Alabama, the Alabama legislature, is that a percentage of something that is coming is much higher than a percentage of nothing that is here. And if it attracts and keeps businesses, it causes growth, which improves jobs. They'll also basically have to give you in the 772 petition how many full-time and part-time employees are anticipated. I think we're dealing with low three figures at this stage at the shopping center. General estimate payroll, which is not inconsiderable. It's economic development. It's not just commercial development.
Mr. Kenner, is the, to offer this to single businesses, is that the same procedure?
Same exact procedure. I am currently representing the town section on one of these things in regard to a gasoline distribution center, which I can guarantee you is not going to have the 18 to $30 million sales potential of this operation. At one time, it was totally illegal to do. The legislature a number of years ago just decided we've got to make certain changes to have certain things happen, and this is what they do. If you drive to Tuscaloosa through Bessemer and see all the growth that's there, every one of those operations is under 772. A good bit of what you've seen in Guntersville and Albertville in recent years, and in Westville, have been tied under 772 development situations.
Anyone else have any questions on this? I know being one who spent many hours in meetings on this development, really excited to see it finally get up here. So, no one else has anything? We'll move on to delegations, and no one signed up tonight, so we'll move on to the mayor.
I don't have anything tonight. Thank everybody for coming, and continue to wear your mask and distance, please. Thanks.
Mr. Dodd.
I don't have anything tonight. Thank you for coming up.
Ms. Tolliver.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Mr. Ashton.
I just want to say that this potential for the economic growth is a real game changer for the city of Scottsboro. I think it's a sign of progress, and I'm glad to see it.
Thank you. Mr. Stewart?
Really, went to a ball game today, see Scottsboro play, the varsity boys, and they played a great game, came up a little short. But if you see any of these kids and these coaches out, congratulate them on the season they've had. They've really worked hard and they've had a great season. And we appreciate their efforts, and they represented our city well. That's all I have. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you. I also made it to that game and was really hoping to be there again Wednesday, and we just came up a little bit short, and they played their hearts out, and maybe here sometime in the future we can get them here and recognize them for the season that they've had.
They've gone further than any Scottsboro boys basketball team since 1967.
Yeah. It's a great team. With saying that, nothing else, we are adjourned.
No longer support a forensic audit.
Say it again.
You no longer support a forensic audit, just a regular
Right
audit?
now, all I'm asking for is an audit. Right now.
Not a forensic audit, though.
Right now, I'm just asking for an audit, and if something happens from there, we'll know. Okay?
Okay,
I'm
thanks.
just supporting the audit, okay?
Well, there's going to be an audit,
Yes.
but you had requested a forensic audit earlier.
I never asked for a forensic audit, I just said an audit, a state audit.
Ms. Tolliver's request for the state audit or forensic audit, as Mayor McCamey explains in this segment, was discussed on January the 4th, 2021. Here is the segment.
Number 5, discuss the request for the state audit. Ms. Tolliver, I don't know if you want to speak on it first, or I'll let the mayor, he did some research. Okay.
I spoke with Mr. Barry Crabb with Alabama League Municipalities last week, and he stated that the state is required by law to do audits on counties and agencies only, not municipalities. He said that the council could request a forensic audit of the city, but in the letter from Alabama Department of Public Examiners. He said there's only 1 or 2 cases he knows that's happened. It would have to be more specific. He also indicated that because they cover counties, or they're required to do counties and agencies, as he put it may be 12 to 24 months before we can see it because of their staffing and workload. As far as the cost, it's hard to come up with the cost, not knowing specifically what they would be looking at. The forensic audits are apparently in depth and pretty